Action.
And you can show me any shirts as we're doing this. Wrestling shirts. Sent you that U shirt.
Uh-huh.
That'd be a cool one-off. Hey, captains and queens. What's happening? What's happening, guys?
I'm doing a power body building.
Oh, nice. Yeah. You're doing the 3. All right. I posted something the other day talking about the level of exertion, I guess you would say, calorie burn, total day fatigue, I guess you would say, is more so with a couple hours of jiu-jitsu than it is, well, I'm dieting down for a movie, doing 1 or 2 workouts a day in cardio. Now, we already know that the thing that you do a lot of, your body adapts to. So we know that, right? So the understanding that, well, the reason why is, first of all, I'm going to 100% in jiu-jitsu and wrestling and the judo. That's just extreme, mostly when you're doing free rolling. And so obviously the exertion is going to be much more than weightlifting. You don't need to go to that level. You're pushing some good weights, but you're never really going to that 100 point. And the same thing with cardio. Cardio in the gym is a different world. It's much more relaxed. Your heart rate's at 120 to 130 to the most, which is pretty much a coast. You're not having deep conversations throughout the whole thing, but you can still talk a bit. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because of the fact that it was interesting that the majority of people didn't comprehend the point of it. And there was another post I put up saying, with the guys that are jumping around the gym doing 3 exercises. I'll stay on the first one first. So the calorie burn is obvious because of the one aspect I'm doing something not as frequent as the training with the weights and the cardio in the gym. So obviously the one aspect of the body and the shock to the body is going to be much more. Now that's great. That's great to understand that. But how can I use that? Well, I can't do the jiu-jitsu 4 or 5 times a week for what I want. For what I want is still to be strong, in shape, and doing these projects like the movies and guest posing. And I don't want to break down the body to the level of what would happen. So I'm giving up one, right? If I start doing jiu-jitsu 5 days a week, I'm giving up those heavier weights in the gym. I'm not recovering as well. So there's a give and take. Now, if that's what you want to do on the one aspect, great. Go do the jiu-jitsu 4, 5, 6 times a week. And that is great for you and for what your goal is. For my goal is I don't want to lose what I've created and what I enjoy. So that was that aspect of it. Now let's jump away from those 2 things. This is what I like to do, but I like to do both, but I want to keep more of this. The interesting thing was when I talked about that I burned more in a day doing jiu-jitsu than the training, everybody started throwing out, well, let's take it up a notch. And one of the aspects was go do soccer for a couple hours and see how many calories you burn. Go do this, go do that, go try this, and you'll burn even more calories. And then again, come from my level of understanding of this, that's not the point of it. It's not the point of it definitely for me or the people I work with, the thousands of people around the world that I try to get in shape. It's not about finding the most pinnacle thing for that day. That's not the point of it. I like jiu-jitsu. I like wrestling. I like judo. I like grappling. So I do have it in the schedule. But I know that I got to minimize it compared to the decline of my weightlifting and my cardio there. So it was interesting. Your thoughts on them coming back with, well, no, let's up it. Let's take it another notch. Let's go do the stair. I don't know what this one's called.
Jacob's ladder?
Yeah, the old school Jacob's ladder. Go do that for 2 hours and you'll burn even more calories. That doesn't win. I'm not a 20-year-old college athlete. That's not my goal, is to burn a certain amount of calories in that. What's your thought on what they're thinking?
Oh, they're only thinking about a number. Like you just said, they're only thinking about calories burned. You want to burn calories? I'll do fucking 10 hours of cardio. Mike, do 10 hours of cardio, Mike.
Go 3 hours of jiu-jitsu.
Why don't you do 3 hours of jiu-jitsu? Yeah, why don't you eat less? Why don't you do a million different? You could do a million things differently. But the point of your video wasn't to burn the most calories for one specific purpose. And that gets lost. It's a 9-second video, guys.
And most people got lost on it.
That's the other part.
Yeah.
It's a
So
10-second video.
we've talked about this. We've talked about if you do a 3-mile run January 1st and you do it all year long, by December 31st, the benefit from that 3-mile run has declined tremendously. Your body adapted to it, even though it's the same. Wait a minute. Why would that be? If you ran it January 1st and you did it every day till December 31st, well, you'll be better at it. You'll be able to do it right faster, but it'll be declined. You won't get the benefit from it. That's how the body works. You guys know this. I don't know why that's a debatable. I don't know why you fight against it. I guess maybe that's comfort to think that something will just continue to work. That's not how it works. I talked to somebody that's on here right now today, and they put on some great weight this last couple of weeks. And you know it's some good muscle too, because it was a protein rise. And so it really filled out their body and really did some tremendous stuff to them. And their question back was, hey, would this be a good time now that the body's responding to maybe cut up?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
And my response back was, I wouldn't. It is hard to gain muscle. It is easy to get sliced. It is mentally hard to get sliced, but it's easy for the body to get in shape. You guys know this. You guys have seen Biggest Loser. All you got to do is be disciplined for a period of time and you'll drop weight and you'll drop hundreds of pounds. If that is your, box that you are in at that time and you're disciplined with what the nutrition is, but your body will respond to that, which is a great thing. It is hard to gain muscle and to stay consistent on building that muscle. And when your body is working with you and you're building muscle, I say stay on that route and try to get as much muscle as you possibly can. And then when your body says, okay, we're good, then maintain that muscle for a bit and then slice up again. That's the best advice I can give you with something that just happened today. It is great to see somebody that is disciplined in that and is gaining that muscle and seeing the body work with them. And so again, props to you, because that is a big thing. And I'm proud of you, you savage. I wish I could say it was Bobo, but it's not. Bobo's not disciplined in that sense.
I found a good photo of Bobo too.
Was he in shape? Was it a little bit better?
No. It looks like you and Clark are doing like a charity workout.
Yeah, look at him.
A charity workout, and yeah.
The youngster came into town.
Beautiful.
All right, go for that question, my friend. But just instead of saying I got a question, just go with the question. Thank you. Mick, the Mixter, Mickey, got a good heart on him. All right, what do we got cooking today, my friends? Australia's in the hizzle. You guys are just getting up down there. I don't know.
How big is too big?
The UK and the his. Hello, my friends. Stay safe over there.
Mike, does frequency matter? Is once a week enough if you do it for the long term?
Is frequency enough? You do it for the long term, once a week. I'm not sure what you're asking about once a week. Is working out once a week good? One body part
Probably
a
one
day.
body part.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're saying one body part
Chest
a week,
and-
right? Like I think most people do chest on Monday. We do legs on Monday. Yeah, I think that's a good range. I think it takes in consideration two things. One is you're training hard, and so you need that full week of recovery for that one body part. And also that you're training other things really hard. And so I always go back to, if you're going to do like a power program like I do, like power bodybuilding or something, there's a couple body parts or movements those days that are really taxing. But the volume of everything else falls off. So there's not so much crazy volume afterwards. It's just the big stuff at the beginning. And again, I recover well enough to move forward and get stronger. And I think when it comes to the volume aspect of multiple exercises for a body part, I think you need that time. I think it's great. And then again, you're going to adapt to that at some point. And when you do, then you need to change it. And that was really kind of the point of the jiu-jitsu is right now, or it has been for a year, it really tires me out that day. And I do nothing else on that day. But come back to me later in this and let me know if you met one body part. Go for it.
I'm going to shorten this one. Mike, what do you say to somebody who has done a cycle of bulking and cutting and remained the same weight at the end of the bulk and cut with no muscle growth?
I would say most likely you do what most people do. And you bulked for a short period of time and put 20 pounds on or something, and you only bulked for 4 to 5 months. Some people only do it for 12 weeks. And then you cut right back up. And we've talked about this. You got to not just put the muscle on. It has to adapt to your body as well. And that's why the old school bodybuilders really made some great changes in a short period of time, in a sense, like in a 10-year span. And you don't see that nowadays. And you see the guys, which is unfortunate. You see them look great by mid 25, and then by 35, they're less. They're not as good because they let the decline of life happen. And also they just do this little 3-month period of bulking, 3 months cut, 3-month bulk, 3-month cut. And so for me to you, take a good year of off season, put that muscle on there, and then take 12 weeks to cut up. Let me know again, how long did you bulk for and how much weight did you put on, and then the cut. And then also, I'd like to see if you do have, I am hoping you have it, the photos of whatever that weight was when you first started relative to when you cut up after you put that muscle on. Because you could end up at the same weight and be visually a different person.
Right.
So that's a huge thing too. Are you being honest about, I would assume that you are. You're not going to say, well, at the same weight, I looked completely different. So let me know that one as well.
Yeah, 3 months of bulking, you're not even just barely getting finished with a power bodybuilding cycle right there.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you're reaching almost peak strength, and then you're just gonna
And technically,
get rid of it.
It's like you're already 6 weeks into power bodybuilding, and then you feel the body switch over.
Right.
and start to get stronger. And so technically,
there's already a month and a half.
yeah, a month and a half's gone. And now you got this month and a half of like enjoyment of this new strength and your body functioning at a higher level. And then you're like,
touched it.
okay, done. And it's like,
touched it.
yeah. I'm just saying that because I know that that's what a lot of people have done. I'm just giving you a scenario of what I've dealt with on people doing incredibly well in the off season and then just doing the switch over going, okay, I need to cut now. June's coming. June, we're not dieting for anybody outside of you or a time outside of you. It should be how your body's working with you. If life permits, the best way. I mean, that's, yeah, that's a tough one.
How often do you relax in a sauna?
Well, we're sauning this week, but I usually do saunas only during dry out weeks or prior to movies. So I don't use it all the time. And see, there's a great point of that. It really works for me because I'm not doing that. And I know that the sauna is always going to work for you. Your body's going to adapt to the heat and it's going to adapt to the cold. So that's another thing that I really like to use that sauna. And I also don't want to deplete it. I like it though. I do like the sauna, but I do know some people that do it every single day. Every single day. I just don't like that. I can mentally handle it for a week or two because it also zaps my strength. Because you're just losing that water, and then it's a tough one. But if you like it, you like it. I know a lot of people do it before bed as well. Heath Evans is a big one.
Okay.
Yeah, he likes it before bed. And it's a smart thing to do that if you have issues like with sleep, where it's going to raise you and then stepping out of that or a hot shower and your body drops. That's going to help you get to bed.
This is a Florida boy.
Yeah, he is a Florida. Those Florida boys, like him and Heat,
natural habitat.
Him and Billy Gunn, they love that heat.
And Mike, any tips on stubborn side and rear delts?
Yeah, I would find out if there's an issue with form and connection. That's what I would first check that. So just video your workout, make sure that you're performing the exercises well. Second thing, are you connecting to those muscles? And then the third thing is have fun. So I always felt that if the trainer or somebody that's coaching you, or you yourself that are coaching yourself, if you can't develop a weak body part, then you're not understanding how to weight lift. And I always thought that was interesting when I would see people training with somebody that couldn't get their own body parts to function correctly. So you got to have fun with it. So at that point, throw the rule book out. So the typical stuff that you read about doesn't work for you, or the stuff that you see somebody else who has great shoulders doesn't work for you. You're going to have to do that whole laboratory experiment of, hey, 12 reps doesn't work for me. Does 8, does 6, does 5, do singles work for me to get thicker and rounder shoulders? You're going to have to discover that and find that out.
How to eat well while being a semi-truck driver?
All the truck drivers that I work with online eat great. Yeah, they got their Igloo. I did it for a summer. I drove a truck when I was in high school during the summer, 3 months. Easiest thing to do. You prep your meals, boom. And then, and especially this is, when I did it, that was a long time ago, my friend. And in today's world, you can eat really well on the road. So yeah, prep those meals, take them with you in the Igloo. What do they call them now? They don't call them igloos, do they? They still call them igloos?
Yeah.
I had a little push button. And
Little white and red one.
Yep, that was me. Yeah, you can do that. I mean, I got a lot, which is interesting. I think just the truck drivers themselves are pretty alpha dudes and women that like to train and train hard. And I have some that actually travel with their a squat rack underneath on a, I don't know what that would be called, but under their trucks and with weights and stuff. So pull over, do some workouts, back on the road.
We get this question a lot. Do you believe it's possible for a natural bodybuilder to train 6 days a week and get quality training and gains?
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah, 100%. Really good gains too.
I just don't understand that one.
Yeah. Because they've been told so much at their age that natural bodybuilders have to train half of what drug bodybuilders have to train, and that's not true. You train the same.
But so if you're doing one body part a day, you're already at. So that's that.
Yeah. Yeah. Try not to go off the internet, my friend.
Yeah,
and then again, you're going to know this within the first month of training. You're going to go, hey, I'm making some good gains here. So it is a question a lot, though. Yeah, they think that
if you're eating right, you'll feel it for yourself that you're recovered, you're doing great, you're making progress. You want to be back in the gym the next day.
Yeah.
You're not beat down, you're not tired, you're not aching.
Make sure that nutrition's on point.
Check the front door. You have a delivery. Who is this?
Can we show them the photo you just pulled up of this guy?
I can
throw that up on the screen.
Definitely give them a little taste of that. Hold on, let me find it. They're not ready for it though.
They ain't ready for the bow. The bowinator.
Let's see if we can give them this right here.
This legend of a man, Alabama.
Are they getting that?
There he is.
Wow. Look at that man. So we got lucky. It cuts off right there.
Cuts off right there. That man is stout. Sexiness. Canada in the hizzle. I love my friend.
Mike, how many minutes do you dedicate to daily stretching?
I don't. I'll stretch a bit before jiu-jitsu and stuff, but mostly the workout's taking care of my stretching. If you follow me at all, you'll see that the workouts are my, they're a combination of my stretching, rehab, connective tissue strength building, range of motion exercises, my muscle building exercises. Yeah. I don't go out to the mats here and just stretch.
Yeah.
I try to incorporate it into the day on what's something I'm doing. Like today, I had a fun warm-up session into squats today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was a good stretch.
Yeah.
For me, I went narrow, and by me going narrow, it forced my hips to stretch in a different way versus going wider and then just sinking into it. When I went narrow, I tried to go narrow though I tried to go narrow and shoot my hips back. I could have went narrow and just went straight down and got zero stretch, zero nothing. I could have literally just
touch, boom, boom.
I could have just went all day. But I tried to go narrow and shoot my hips back, which put my body in this awkward position for me. So that was a great stretch.
And a good extra pressure to the back.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, we had a fun one today. So our stretching took place mostly during the warm-ups on the squats. And then as we were doing the squats, we were also doing some stretching because of the range of motion and the depth we go. And the fit position. It was a new foot position, new for, I don't know, I say every 4 weeks, we'll do a different type of squat. So yeah. But if you like stretching, just keep in mind that stretching a cold muscle is not recommended. That's not me. That's everybody. Says try not to stretch a cold muscle, which is interesting because I mean that's how we grew up as kids, running 10Ks and stuff. You'd stretch before you did anything at 7 a.m. when these races would take place in Washington. So it was cold. It was 7 a.m. on a weekend, and you're sitting there stretching. And yeah, the recommendation is, and I think that's another reason is when we are doing our warm-ups on whatever exercise it is, by the time we got some weight on there, the stretch is now finally finishing, I guess you would say, right? Because you want to get to a certain range of motion with your stretches. You're trying to go, I don't know if it's behind the neck or the squats into a certain range. By the time we get to some kind of weight, and then that stretch is all complete. So it kind of evens out at the same time. Maybe that's another reason, just we're still healthy doing this, right? What's up, girl? It's a good question, though. I think a lot of people don't realize don't stretch cold.
Can I cut with a 3-day-a-week split?
Yeah, it's a deficit. Your workout doesn't play a part in it as much as you probably think it does. It's the deficit, just a daily deficit.
Isn't that Bryce still does the same thing when you get sliced, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just calories are at a different level. You guys understand that, right? Everybody here? If you don't, this gentleman's just saying that he's going to be in a deficit all week, but he's only going to train 3 days a week. Which, again, it's a great concept, 3 days a week. Some of the best guys I know are getting 3 days a week of training. The cardio is a little bit more, as you know, obviously.
Right.
3 days a week is great to start with. And if your body continues to burn and you're still at a decent amount of calories and you're not completely starving yourself like 1,000 calories, great. At some point, you'll know, right? You all know this. If the body stops and you've done your 3 days or you're adding in your cardio and stuff, obviously more output you're going to have to do. But you know that. Right? Nobody's going to diet for.
That's 3 days.
That's 3 days a week right there.
3 days a week. 3 days a week training with Mike.
Now, as the weeks go, cardio goes up. Nutrition keeps changing as it goes. That way, every time it starts to slow or I can see that it's going to stop, change it up. Boom, keep going forward. That way, it continues to get sliced and diced. And that's a 50-year-old guy there. So that's another thing, too. A 50-year-old natural guy that trains 3 days a week. So great question, though.
Is it okay that I work on my abs every single day?
Yeah, I mean, you can work on anything every single day if you want. Just you understand what you're doing. You're building your muscle, so you're building that kind of waistline. Right? Then it goes into play too, how much what's your diet like. But yeah, anybody here can train biceps every day if you want. You just realize what you're doing. It's interesting though. It's interesting that training your abs every single day all year long seems like that's the go ahead. I like the guys. I mean, geez, I don't think I ever saw Heath really train his abs except the 30-day blitz. And that guy walks around at 285 with
He's
abs.
gotta have abs. He's a human bulldog.
His
job is to take people down.
If anybody should have been named Rhino, it's him. What a beast. Yeah. So just anybody here, just understand what you're doing when you're training the same muscle over and over again, and how you're setting yourself up, not just for now, but for future, right? Let's say hypothetically, pull this for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say hypothetically, wow, can't even say it twice. You're in your 20s and you're training like a D1 athlete and just absolute savage. And you're not keeping in the calorie intake to support that. What do your 30s look like? Just common sense. What does your 30s look like? Because you probably won't be able to train at the level you did when you're 20. And if the calories are already not even there at that point, I'm hoping then by 30, your calories, now you're going, okay, I'm not 20 no more. I need to be smart about the nutrition. And then maybe you can maintain there for a bit. But again, you're still trying to train like that D1 athlete, even though you're removed from your sport for 5-10 years. So these are the little things that seem like that's what you're supposed to do. That's the common sense. Well, you always train like a savage. I was with some pros this weekend and we we're all saying the same thing. Do your best, but about 70%. 70% is a good range of put effort out there. You will have your 100% days, but it's very rare. And that way your body can train hard enough to be stimulated to move forward, but not be destroyed. And then also it gives you room later. So just keep that in mind. And this is all just off a question about, I want to train abs every single day all year long. Okay.
I'm 52, but a lifter who's trying to cling to the last vestiges of youthful exuberance, keeping and building. I know sleep is critical, but how bad is sleep deprivation in the grand scheme of things?
Pretty bad. Pretty bad. It's the only time that your body recovers, right? It's the only time that your body's trying to recover, and so you can move forward the very next day. So just keep that in mind. And I fully understand this is like your last hurrah and you want to push it. But yeah, sleep's pretty important. Not so much when you're 20, right? You know, I probably wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back and change how I was in my 20s and 30s. And I did all right with what I was giving my body to recover, which goes back to the point about the natural bodybuilders can train like savages. So I did, and I did it to a level with very little sleep. So, and still won the universe over and over and outlifted mostly everybody. So get your sleep, kiddo. I know you're 52. I know you want that tussle and stuff. So get your sleep. Let's go two more.
Two more bangers.
How many people are on here are pretty precise about their nutrition? You got your meal plan set up. You're doing it weekly. You know what the meals are, or a rough idea. You're making your meals and you're eating them. Staying consistent. But again, staying consistent, you get your 4 to 6 workouts a week. Even 3 is fine. Your nutrition's good. Sleep's all right. How many are you doing that? Just give me a yes on that bad boy.
What is the best deload after the 12 weeks of power bodybuilding program?
Well, deload's just a week off, and you're already doing that with the 12-week power bodybuilding program, right? Because you're setting up for that, your PRs after you do it. So the week off, that's what a deload is, just a week off. It's not like, a 12-week plan. You're getting that week off, boom, get your singles right back into it. A lot of yeses. Good job there, buddy. Good job. Love that.
A whole lot of yeses.
Look at that.
Kinda.
Kind is a no.
Kinda isn't.
There's probably some yeses there that are no's if I got deep into it, but I like it.
Roger's the real one. Mike, I'm 15, been training heavier recently and I've been getting exertion headaches. I've been going to the chiro, drinking electrolytes. Any tips?
Yeah. No, see somebody that's there with you, that understands what's going on. I got nothing for you, friend. You're 15, you're young, you're sleeping right. Yeah. I don't know about the exertion headaches. I trained like that at that age and stuff, but I never had that experience. You?
Yeah, go see a doctor.
Yeah, go see a doctor on that one.
How to maintain a small waist after your 50s?
Well, you'll keep your waistline, obviously, right? I'd make sure to slice up every once in a while. Make sure that you're doing some good cuts.
What's your opinion on doing legs and shoulders on the same day?
Wow. You are an absolute savage. Wow. I've heard chest and back. I've heard a couple body parts, shoulders, arms. I've never heard somebody say that they put somebody, and again, I may have heard this. I've never, something with leg day. Most people can't barely make it through leg day, and you're doing legs plus shoulders, or shoulders then legs. That's impressive. I couldn't. You're a second. I don't want to train with you. That's just because I have nothing. I can't do back in another body part, unless I'm doing power bodybuilding, and it's still going to take me some weeks to get used to that. Yeah, that's tough. You're a savage, brother. For anybody that does that, my recommendation is a body part, unless you're doing something like power bodybuilding and you got that time to split it. I think that's why we loved it so much, Kelly and us in our 30s, but I was also in my 30s and loved the power bodybuilding. And we're going back to that kind of situation this next couple of weeks with Billy. We'll go and do our heavy lift, squat or deadlift, whatever it is, in the morning, and then we'll go train. Yeah. Then we'll go train. Like if I deadlift in the morning, then we'll go in the afternoon and do back. If we squat in the morning, then we'll go back and do some secondary quads or hamstrings later. So that's the level we're training at. Doesn't mean that's what you have to do at all. Pretty much everybody I've ever met is much more of a savage than I am in the gym. So if you can do shoulders and legs together and that works with your schedule and how you're set up, props to you. I couldn't do it. I don't got much left after
Squats?
I don't have much left after squats
What
and
we did the other day. We just did the walks and whatnot.
yeah, squats. Then we
All right,
did some.
Mike, load up the behind the neck. Let's
Yeah,
go.
it's like no.
Yeah.
I mentally couldn't. Wait a minute. I got to. You know what I would do mentally? I would save it and do a lame ass leg workout if I had to do another body part.
It'd be lame as hell.
That's what would happen. I would pull back on the first body part to get a second body part. And to me, that doesn't make sense. My point of view is that I got to train legs hard enough to where I damage them and then get out of the gym so I can recover just that body part. Imagine if I damage my legs and my shoulders and then I get out of the gym, I'm going back the next day, right? To do, I don't know, back or chest. And I'm already damaged from this day or over damaged. And that's why I think when I do the rolling or grappling or judo or jiu-jitsu and stuff, that's a Saturday, to where the Sunday I already know it's going to be a dip. So I take Sundays usually off because I know it's going to be this on Saturday and it's going to drop and I need another recovery to come back around. So think about that when you're doing these workouts. Like if you're going to do, hypothetically, if you train legs like maybe these savages out there, and that's a Monday, maybe pick a body part on Tuesday that is maybe genetically gifted. Maybe you have great arms. So there's your day 2, right? Because it's a dip. You don't really need to give it that big umph. So you can kind of, in a lame term, phone it in a bit. But at least you get in the gym, you train the arms, you stimulate them a bit, and then you come back the next day. That's how I would kind of put the programs together. Great question, though. Thank you. And again, Danny, I'm not training with you. You're a savage.
Call it there.
Good? Nothing else?
There's a bunch, but get some videos to make.
Yep. We got some more stuff to do here, guys. I want to hit this real quick. What is this?
Hey, Mike, thank you for the shorts. They've been very informative.
Thank you. Thanks for letting us know that, too. It's always good feedback. See what you guys are liking. We're going to do some long content, too. I know that Mona said we got to get some of that long content up there as well. But those shorts are hitting you guys. Thanks, guys, for hanging out today. I'll check for any great questions here, and we'll do the answers on another day.